Good morning, everybody. We're about 8 minutes before the hour. Hello? So, we're going to be running a yin yoga class today. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. And if you want to let me know that you can hear me okay, please do so. If you're on the live chat, feel free. And for today's yin class, everybody, whether you're joining live or not, hi. If you could grab yourself a block, you see that I have my block here. And also some sort of rolled up towel is a good offering, or I'm using one of our sofa pillows, home practice. We make it up as we go along. The sofa pillow acts as a nice option for a bolster. And if you are choosing to be with music today, I'm going to launch the earbuds app in about another 2 minutes or so. And that would mean following me on earbuds. It's an app. You can look up my name and you'll just follow along to the live playlist that's launched in about 2 minutes. Or you can go to Spotify. My handle name is My Friend Simone, and you can follow along to the playlist for today, which is Friday, June 13th. So that's the YIN playlist. And we'll get started in another 2-ish minutes. So just finding what you need in terms of your block or your bolster and both. You could also use 2 blocks if you don't have a kind of bolster. And just a little correction about the date for the playlist. It's actually for June 12th. So YIN Friday, June 12th. And it will be named as such if you wanted to add a little bit of music to your YIN this Friday. And as we get settled onto our mat, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time. So we're going to get started. And so as you get settled on your mat, just kind of noticing what you have to make space for. So you just heard my dog Bella doing her thing. You might have a busy household, others around. You might need to shut the door to a room. Maybe put in your smaller headphones to kind of come into the music for yourself, if that's your choice. And acknowledging that we're kind of balancing the world around us as we choose to come to our mat and come a little more inside. Because sometimes when we don't acknowledge whatever else is going on, we have a hard time finding our way in. So we've all got lives. We're balancing out to make it to the mat. Deep breath in for that. And a deep sigh out. I'm going to launch this playlist right now. So when it launches, I'll say it's going. And it's going right now live on earbuds, so you can launch your playlist as well. And just take yourself to your back body. And as you lie on your back body, heavy into your shape of Shavasana, just finding a big exhale out whenever it feels natural to let go, starting from an exhale place. Keep your jaw soft, maybe even part the upper lower jaw. Maybe shut down the eyes. And although your lips and jaw would be parted, breathe in and out through the nose. And whether you're really finding a kind of rhythm through your breath or through the music, just let that rhythm carry you away. Let that rhythm kind of support your relaxed state in your Shavasana. And we're going to be with this super simple offering on our back body, heavy to the support of the mat, soft to the points of our fingers and toes. and just a real willingness to be carried away. Take one more inhale through the nose and one more slow, steady exhale through the nose. And you might keep your eyes completely closed or a little soft to the opening. And you're going to come up to sit on your mat. So just use your elbows and your arms. And we're just going to find a sit towards the back of the mat. And we're going to take our block. I'd like it at the second highest height, right? And we're going to take our block and go across the upper back, kind of across the shoulder blades. So you'll feel for it as you sit up. You'll look for where that might happen on the mat. And you'll take yourself to lie back. So that block comes across your shoulder blades proper. And you'll take your second block or your prop, whether it's a towel, and put it underneath your head, because your head will hang kind of lower than the top part of your chest. And this might feel a lot confronting. If you feel like this height of the block is too much for you, you might need to get back out of this shape. Put the block a little lower. With the head hanging lower than the top of that heart, you're going to notice that your neck is opening up, and that there's a real kind of sensation through the body of the throat. That is a natural part of coming into this shape in this way. But again, if the sensation's too much for you, then put the block a little lower underneath your back body. And if you choose to go a little lower with the block underneath your back body, it might even a little more to how your head is. Take a moment to be aware of what's happening in the expression of the face and through the cheeks. Soften the sides of the mouth and sides of jaw area. Imagine that you could see your forehead and kind of start to witness your forehead flattening out without any crinkle about it. So as that shape of relax starts to happen across the face, it might just echo in and through the body. In fact, if you're looking for a relaxed state in the body, you're going to really need to will it in through the expression of your face. And as you still your body to receive the shape, to be yes to yin in this moment, yes to sensation, yes to still. As you get into that place, maybe that exhale returns. The same exhale we started this practice with on our back body. A full letting go exhale that helps you settle into it a little more with just a lot less muscle. We're here for about another 5 breaths. Whew. And you'll feel it just keeps getting a little deeper, right? Can you notice how your thighs and your glutes can soften out? And then travel through 3 more breaths as you let go into those areas of the thigh, the glutes, the softness of the belly. And we'll take one more breath right into the center of your chest. See if you might spread a little more space with that inhale. See if you can willingness to let go. Exhale. Take one of your hands, put it behind your head, and pick up your head with the help of your hand. Pick up your chin a little higher than the peak of your chest. Then use your belly abdomen work and press through the palms to get up to a sit. Remove your block and remove the other prop and lie right back down into a state of Shavasana. Oh. Feel for the kind of leftovers of where we just were. Maybe a little bit of imprinting down the length of the whole spine, including that neck body. And in your Shavasana, take an inhale with your gaze kind of straight up to your sky. And in your exhale, like a bowling ball, roll your head kind of to the right. So a little bit of something in the neck. And on your next inhale, roll like a bowling ball back to center. And on an exhale, roll slow like a bowling ball to the left. I'm going to do that one more time. Come back to center through an inhale. You should feel a little rolling through the back of the head, massaging the back of the head. And on the exhale, go to the right. Maybe a little further right. And on an inhale again, back to center. And on a slow exhale, slow letting go to the left. Come back up to center with your breath in and keep your head still at center. And a little sigh, exhale. Pick yourself back up to a sit, however it makes sense in your body to help yourself up. You can use either your block or your prop, which is a towel or bolster. Can be either or. And you're going to go across the midsection of your body. Now with a block at the lowest height, please, it's going to be a little more intense across the midsection of your back. If you were to mirror it to the front, it might be across the kind of Buddha spot of your belly. I'm going to go for a little more intensity. And as I get into this, that block is horizontal across the midsection. Your bum should be able to touch down completely to the mat. And so should your head. Feel for what the sensation is at the onset of our practice in. And as you feel for this kind of opening through your mid space of torso, could you just let go through that exhale before you make a firm decision about needing to shift, alter? Arms can lie by the side body, or you could take the arms overhead, kind of cactus. Ample bend through the elbows. I want you to find that space of being able to let the arms heavy to the floor. Taking a deep breath in, moving it through the length of your body. Taking a deep breath out. And whether you have a playlist to accompany you here, or whether you're into that backdrop of your breath being your playlist, I need us all to just be aware of our breath and that it's fluid, that it's not a little tight or stopped. That's always an indication to shift a little bit and find a little more space in your shape. And so we started at the top of the back body. We moved down to the mid part. Practice your breaths being kind of big and wide, almost like it's driving down through the center of your body and shoving a little bit of space into that center to make your ribs go wider. Two more breaths here, not so long because of the intensity of this pose. Take another big inhale, get to the top and hold your breath for a beat. hold, hold. And then open your mouth, maybe stick out your tongue and exhale out. And pick up your head with one hand. Get the head high enough. And then sit up slow. Remove whatever prop is underneath you. Lie back down. Feel the feedback of where we just were as you take it slow and steady to your back body. For this bit in between, I'm going to welcome you to bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Look the knees up, step the feet a little wider until they're almost mat width, and then knock the knees inward towards one another. So they kind of rest up against one another to hold each other where they are. No doubt there's going to be a little bit of an ache here, a little bit of that imprint from where we just were. And see if there's a process for breathing through and feeling it kind of simmer down into a new version of you being on your back body. You're going to take about 2 more breaths in and out through the nose. Softness in the eyes, maybe even shutting down the eyes. And we'll stay on our back body. And from the place of the soles of the feet being on the mat and the legs being bent, just take your knees away from one another now and walk the feet in till they're about hip width distance. So it's like your heels hide behind each sit bone. And then walk your feet in. You can see I'm kind of stepping my heels a little closer to my bum cheeks. Feel the spread of your toes as you lift your toes off the mat. Breathe in. And just letting your toes back down. Breathe out. Take either your block or your other prop, if that's what you got. And I'm going to invite you, if you've got a block, to put it at the medium height again. But this time you're going to press into your feet and lift your pelvic floor high. You might even need to get into the balls of the feet, heels high. Put the block underneath your sacrum bone. That's usually right above your bum cheeks, not on your bum cheeks. And then rest your sacrum super heavy, like a bum to a chair, right onto that block. Meet your stillness. Meet your quiet. Maybe as you find the shape, the sensation of the stretch and what's okay in your body here, take a big exhale, that same kind of exhale to arrive, to choose, to receive. And then don't be afraid to be super bold and almost expressive with the space of your breath. It becomes such a big inhale that you feel for your balloon belly lifting. And then a really slow drop down exhale. And just to be aligned with your breath, right? They're partners, the shape and the breath, they're together on this. So maybe you take your right hand to belly and your left hand to chest, and you feel for that expression, that deep, deep, almost loud voice of your breath. As you maybe rest now your arms alongside the body, you could put your palms down here. And from bent legs here and your sacrum resting heavy to the block, I want you to bring the right knee towards your belly chest. So it's almost like you're bringing your right knee towards your head. Then do the same with the left knee, suspending both soles of the feet off the ground. It may be the case that you take your hands kind of to the outsides of the knees so that your fingers look towards the insides of the knees. And then separate your knees wider with the help of your hands until they've gone as wide as they're going to go in your body. Yeah? So there's going to be a nice bit of sensation and stretched through to the inner leg, a little towards the groin area. And you're going to start to distinguish between pulling here and just hanging on. And I want you to choose hanging on. So you're not pulling on your knees. You're just holding on enough so that you can get the sensation, this stretch of your legs wide. And for me in these shapes, it so helps me to imagine that the breath is actually being stimulated or born from a different body part than just my lungs. Maybe you've got a little pack of lungs through your inner thighs. Maybe you can feel for a breath into that space. Maybe you can feel for a long, successful breath out. That helps you just stay committed to the shape, stay playful to investigating the course of where we're going. It may be that we're all in a shape for sure, but could we continue along to the journey, these kind of microseconds within it, to know that the shape is constantly evolving. So we're never trying to get to just one point. And you might have heard my exhale right there. You might be needing one too. This is super duper deep stuff as we go in. So letting your body be supported by the partnership of its breath. stay for another inhale as maybe you wide your toes and spread through the feet a little bit. Stay for an exhale as you soften that. With your knees and legs wide, take your palms to the outsides of the knees, fingers now uncurl. And then close the knees like a book over top of your chest and belly. Put your palms down on the ground, helping to ground you. And slowly, bring your legs up. Soles of the feet now face the sky. And so as we get into this Dandasana, this kind of staff pose, legs up, this inversion, the legs don't have to be perfectly straight, but they are more straight than bent. And they won't stay perfectly still either. But they're not moving just for the sake of moving. And so just being witness to the imperfection of sorts, the legs up there. There's very kind of nuanced movement in the legs as they just try and be still up in the air. And starting to notice the shift in energy, the shift in oxygen, in blood flow. Does it make for your feet to tingle? Maybe even feel a bit numb a little here and there? Take a deep, whole inhale. And a sigh out to exhale. Take one hand onto your thighs so your fingertips are looking up to your knees. And bend really slow out of straight legs. It will probably tingle. It'll feel like a load of sensation. You might want to spread your toes and kind of lead through the mound or ball of your foot. And then put one foot down at a time. A kind of slow gesture into getting out of this. You're going to lift your bum just shy of the block high. Slide the block or your prop, whatever you used, out from underneath. Bring your bum down. Pause here with a bend in the legs. Take a full inhale and a real nice sigh, exhale. And then see if you could bring the soles of the feet together. Supta Baddha Konasana, like your feet are in prayer. And you might be really high through the knees, so it might serve you to kind of slide your props underneath your legs. Or you might like the sensation of having nothing underneath you there and just letting your knees be wide. And for every time that we get out of a shape that's been held for a little bit of time, There's all this kind of feedback to where we end up. This information about how our body feels, about what emotions might be unleashed, about what stories might come front and center. And I want you to do nothing to make any of that wrong. But by the same token, just be more of a witness to it rather than pursuing any of it. I'm going to take one full inhale through the nose. Big bellies, big hearts. Exhale through the nose. Help your knees close like a book again from the outside. Soles of the feet on the ground. Props a little out of the way, but nearby. Go long through the legs. Lie down in Shavasana for one inhale and exhale through the nose. You're going to take your time getting into a rolled over child's pose. So you might feel the need to sit up for a beat. You might roll right over on your mat. And I'm going to invite you in your child's pose to maybe have the knees together as you get there. So the knees kind of zip up and you take your child's pose from that place. Option whether you want to curl your toes under in that child's pose. That's a lot more bang for your buck. Option whether you want shoelaces to the mat. You have your props with you if you need them underneath your forehead or your heart. But mostly what you're exploring is a really rounded expression of the spine here. Another way of looking at it is more round than long spine. More round than arch of any sort. And just like we've been doing, when you find that bit of still, that bit of quiet in the shape, big exhale. And just doing the work in this quiet space of imagining breath in between each vertebrae of your spine. Whether it's one vertebrae at a time, stretching space, exhaling, or maybe it's a kind of idea of it all. All vertebrae is getting a nice bit of space through the inhale. Exhale. And having the information of knowing where we put those props down the length of our spine. We started at the top, we went to the mid, we went to the lower. Can you trace into those spots? Can you dive back in with that whole back body exposed here? And just breathe in and through all those spots. Hmm. Take your time. As much time, in fact, as you want to play with, to find a little press through the knees, shins, and shoelaces. And roll out of this child's pose. That has you climb up your vertebrae into a sit of Virasana on our knees. And one big breath in through the nose and out. Take a little pause here. Stand up on your knees. Breathe in. And curl your toes under here. Breathe out. Sit your bum down on your heels. You're just finding a little bit of a toe squat here, a little bit of an opening in the space of your feet that we take so much for granted in our lives. If this is super intense for you, you could use your block or one of your props underneath your knees. Right? So your knees would lift up, you'd slip that underneath your knees and then put your bum back to your heels. That'll lessen the intensity. Or you can be with the intensity for about 6 more breaths. One of the things this pose is amazing for is cramping in the feet, which a lot of people tend to get, right? When you're asleep in the middle of the night and you have that thing creep up. So just noticing if you're negotiating anything in those spaces. And just a real invitation to maybe explore this shape, this posture every day. For your feet, we stand on them all the time, right? And take one more breath in through the nose and one more breath out. Lean a little forward. Put your hands on the mat. You might need to remove your block from underneath your knees. If you're removing that prop from underneath your knees, then make your way into a tabletop from this and put your shoelaces to the mat and do a little light kick into your shoelaces to get rid of that. From your shoelaces to the mat, walk your hands towards your knees. Then frame the outsides of your legs. Keep walking back. Keep walking back. Keep walking back. Put your shoelaces nice and down into your mat. Pick up your knees by pressing pretty actively into your shoelaces. That's going to open up your ankles. It's also going to feel kind of nice, compared to where we were with that toe squat. One more breath in across the front of you. And out. Awesome. Come down with the knees, guys. Walk the hands back, back, back where they were to tabletop. You can either leave your shoelaces on the mat or again, curl your toes under. What do you want to do? What's going to feel nice? Arch your spine to drop your belly for cow. Breathe in. Ooh. Exhale, round the spine. Breathe out. Take another inhale to arch the spine. Breathe in. Less yang-like here, more sweetness, more ease. Exhale, round the spine. Breathe out. Take it to a flat back for an inhale. And then do a really nice, soft, and delicious down dog to exhale. Let your head hang. Let your neck be relaxed. Take one breath in, one breath out. Everybody bend your left leg. Keep your right leg more straight. Stay with that. Breathe in. So your right hip's high, left hip down. Breathe out. Everybody bend your right leg now. Keep your left leg more straight. Stay with that. Full inhale. Full sweet exhale. Awesome. Bend both legs. Breathe in. Drop your belly close to your thighs. Exhale, straighten through both legs as much as you need to feel sensation. Breath out. Put your knees back down on the ground. Create a tabletop. Full inhale. Full exhale here. Take your block or your prop and try and put it in between your hands and tabletop so your thumbs kind of touch the outsides of the block as you look down at the block horizontally. Keep your block at a lower height for this. And whether you're using your block or prop, step one form at a time onto that prop and let your hands kind of hang heavy out in front. And then we're just going to flow in and out of this. I like curling my toes under to look my heels high. You can even step your knees a little wider and a little back. Take a deep breath in here and send your bum towards your heels a little more. Breath out, straight arms as head goes in between the arms. And then come back where you were, forward, inhale, pressing through the forearms to ground. And then exhale, go back again. And then come forward, inhale. And then go back again, exhale. And maybe you go forward one more time. Or maybe you stay here. trying to drop your head in between your arms. Maybe there's a possibility of putting your forehead on the ground. But do try and drop into the sensation of your outer arms, your back body, and your armpits, kind of feeling a stretch, a big bit of sensation across the top of your back body, too. A big kind of opening into the lats. And then with that opening, heavying the heart. It's actually called melted heart anahastasana. So if you could imagine melting the center of your chest, heart down towards your mat. And then because this is such a confronting pose, no doubt you're going to witness all this stuff. Some of it will be physical, some of it will be story, ideas, notions about yourself, about how this feels. It's a kind of unlocking that we go into. And in this unlocking, could you just let go? Could you try not to direct or drive the car quite so much? If there was ever a time to kind of be passenger, be passenger. If there was ever a time to trust so much and close your eyes in that passenger seat, do that now. It's different than trying to control it. I'm going to stay through another 5 breaths. Keep the softness in your fingers. There might be an extra area of getting into a stretch through the hips as they go back. So balancing the offering of this sensation and stretch, balancing it into different body parts with slow and steady breath in and out. And while you examine and you feel, and maybe even name discomfort, name opening, name emotion. Again, it's a bearing witness, not so much pursuing too much of it. 2 more breaths. Out of that second exhale, I'd like you to lift your head up and look towards your fingertips. That might add a little sensation. I'd like you to use your knees and toes and shift your hips a little forward. Shift them slowly forward until they come more forward to imagine a kind of tabletop on your forearms. One hand at a time, step up onto the prop, and then frame your prop again with your hands. It's going to feel like something here, a lot of feedback in coming out of that shape. And so as you get here, I want you to do whatever feels good. You might make kind of half circles with your head hanging heavy, almost like a neck roll. Do that maybe a couple more times. Come back center, whatever you're doing with that head, and press into hands and knees to really round your spine. Keep the rounding stretch sensation of cat pose here. Shoulder blades really looking up towards that sky. One more breath in the round. In, out. Slowly drop out of that round to a more neutral place of your tabletop. You can keep your toes curled under. You can leave your block where it is or even step it more underneath your chest belly. And then you're going to go into your downward dog again. From down dog, bend your legs and walk your toes behind your prop. You're in a forward fold. Stand up your prop as tall as you can get it and put your hands on that. That'll make for a nice halfway lift. Sometimes I step my block a little forward. And then everybody kind of toe heel or heel toe your feet a little wider. Point your toes straight ahead. Micro bend just a bit in the legs. Take a big breath in here. And then drape heavy into dangling pose. Now, some people won't take this fold as far, which is why your block will have a handiness to it to catch your hands, to maybe catch your forearms in the fold so that you can drop your head heavy. Others might really like the sensation of just hanging out. Can you imagine that there's little weights on your ears? And let those weights lead the way to a heavy fold. Let the fold drop the jaw a little wider between upper lower jaw. Let the weight of the skull inside your head ground you more forward and down. And then 3 concentrated breaths together here. Heavy fingertips, heavy head, heavy heart. Deep breath in. Sigh, breath out. 2 more breaths in and out. It might be the case that you flutter your lips to really orchestrate this give in this pose. It might be the case that you shift a little weight forward into the toes and a little weight back into the heels, and then somewhere add up into the center. 1 more breath in and out. Take your hands to your block or prop halfway up. Breathe in. Fan out your feet wider. Then point your toes out and your heels inward. Bend through the legs slow to put your bum in between this empty space. Come into Malasana squat with your hands supporting you on the block or prop. Take your hands behind out of Malasana squat. Put your bum down. And you're going to make your way into Shavasana as steady and easily as you can. Shavasana always makes so much sense, but it especially makes sense after dangling. After that real letting go forward fold. Returning where we started our practice and allowing Shavasana to really take shape for you here whenever it feels ready and to exhale all of the holding on out. Let it be the case that there's space for you to close your eyes here. And if you have anything that you want to cover your eyes with, you could do that. And let yourself, from the beginning, we started this practice with let yourself be carried away. Whether it's through the space of this last song or the wisdom of your breath. And then be in the quiet. If you were with the playlist live or following along on your Spotify, it will come to an end. But allowing you to rest in quiet. So totally being with ourselves in that final shape. And as our time comes to an end today, that doesn't mean that your meditation of being still here has to end right away. So just allowing or even challenging yourself to go a little further with this. I'll be back here on Sunday with a flow class and themed class. Black Lives Always Mattered. I'll have a nice curated playlist for us to move through with. And I hope that you and anyone you know can join. and come to the mat in power and move through some really special songs for that. Take care of yourself over the next few days. Lots of love. And be sweet. Namaste.